Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news in America doing well in spite of itself. Lawmakers paralysed in internecine squabbling, but their economy is improving nicely. On the economy front, there was a slew of US data released today, and most of it was positive for them. Firstly, their June Advanced Durable Goods report showed new orders up a very strong 6.5%, although that comes after 2 months of slight weakness. Strong transportation equipment activity boosted the result, mainly for airplanes. And after hitting a 50-year low in the March quarter, their home ownership rate jumped strongly in June, up to 63.7%. That ends a long downward track. Just for reference, the New Zealand home ownership rate is 63.0%, and still falling. The American trade balance of goods eased to a deficit of $63.9 billion in June, an improvement because exports were up and imports were down. Interestingly, the trade with Mexico is booming. US imports from there rose 11.5% in the same period a year ago, and US exports to its southern neighbour rose 9.5%. The goods trade is virtually imbalanced now, with a $63 million advantage to Mexico. Tiny when you realise that the two-way trade in just 1 month amounts to more than $71 billion. US trade disadvantage is barely a rounding error. And in related news overnight, the US Congress has given up on the Trump plan to institute a border adjustment tax, which was proposed at the rate of 20%. The idea is dead, at least for now. Tomorrow, the first estimate of their June quarter GDP will be announced. Markets are expecting an improvement from the March quarter, up to 2.6% growth. It does appear that a do-nothing president and Congress are not hurting their economy. In Russia, they're reported to be disillusioned by the new round of tougher sanctions being adopted by the Americans, one policy area that is getting progress in Washington with bipartisan support. A fresh start in relations between the two superpowers seems unlikely, and there are growing calls for retaliation by Moscow. And the Europeans, especially the Germans, are alarmed by this. The alarm is most keenly felt by German energy companies. Germans are starting to talk about counter-sanctions against the Americans. In China, the talk is all about ramping up their supply-side reforms. And in New York, the US Treasury 10-year yield is up a little today at 2.31%. The price of oil rose again overnight and is just over $49 a barrel, while the Brent benchmark is now up to $51.50 a barrel. The price of gold is slightly higher as well, up $2 to $1,249 an ounce. But the Kiwi dollar is marginally weaker, now at 74.9 US cents after yesterday's run-up on the weakening greenback. On the cross rates, we're marginally higher at 94 Aussie cents and 64.1 euro cents. As a result, the TWI is at 77.6. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.